Busket. Say if you wanna put it in a bunker.
The new Norm is truly not the same as the old Norm. He's not even a polar bear. What's with this Equestria girls bullshit? Why'd they make him human? Oh, it's also one of the most fundamentally broken shows, if you can count it as one, I've ever seen.
Say, look at this. I've been cleaning out my nest, and I found an old book of my poetry.
Oh, stewardess, I speak jive. Oh, good.
Michelle, we go bomb dropping.
We only reverence one stripper, and that's the one that took off glory
George Bush doesn't care about
to
black
put
people.
on humanity, and then get butt naked on a cross to die for both you and me. The only stripper I'm in love with is Jesus.
Turn the TV to hit the Pentagon! Hit the fucking Pentagon!
We'll provide you with housing. We'll provide you with education. We'll provide you with everything you need to provide a life.
Well, in America,
Politicians, they do more before 7 a.m. than those figures do in their whole lifetime.
The new Norm is an American conservative internet animated sitcom, although without context you'd have no idea it even qualifies as that. It's exploitation media at its finest, attempting to capitalize on American Republican-affiliated political ideologies, advertising itself as the first animated sitcom on X, formerly Twitter, rebranded during Elon Musk's term as CEO, which he still assumes ownership of. Musk holding the intent for community guidelines to be more adjacent to First Amendment law in the United States, a controversial policy due to that law being under question today. Additionally, attempting to make the platform more like YouTube so ad revenue could be provided on long-term video, with large figures like Mr. Breast endorsing the Make Twitter YouTube movement of sorts.
My cock is so happy. Thank you, Mr. Breast.
Which really wasn't successful. I mean, like, it could be a thing 10 years from now, but that's hypothetically. You know, the tubes just got the monopoly. Even an equally large website couldn't give it a run for its money in this decade. The rebrand to X attempting to form a new identity as a social media function, and with this came a new market from policy and function. The new Norm utilizing it for profit, as well as trying to create yet another market of animated web series on this new YouTube, and compares itself to South Park, which is never a good sign for an animated show. Which basically confirms that it was conceived for market expansion of all things, and not because the people behind it had something to say about anything in culture. And its debut was a masterclass in unintentional hilariosity. Now, I was originally going to refrain from talking about this thing because I have a strong contingency over politics and unnecessary places. Quentin Reviews circa 2020. And I would consider this channel more culture-oriented than political, even if they are heavily intertwined inevitably. But then it dawned on me, the new Norm, an art with political intent behind it, fails at its motivations, so it would be difficult to infer if not witnessed upon debut, to the point where it can be heavily criticized regardless of political ideology. Because something clearly designed to have a message doesn't have it, so I can't critique the actual quality of the messaging, which would involve displaying political views. Can't bitch about politics if there's so little of it, guess I'm off the hook. Now, let's say hypothetically you were to watch this 30 years from now with no knowledge of the divided socio-political climate of today that led to its creation. You would have zero idea just what to think. Is it making fun of conservatives? Are the protagonists heroes or villains? Is this a parody of conservative media? Is this a parody of bad Family Guy ripoffs? Is this ironic? Now, the show was created by Akiva and Sophia Perel and developed by Jose Bihar.
It was a Jewish doctor.
There is zero confirmation that the main creators are even real people. Somebody also with the name Akiva Perel is credited for being involved with marketing at the non-profit organization Creative Capital, located in the NYC, which provides grants for artistic measures. So this may or may not be the actual creator. There is no match of authority for a Sophia Perel, and Jose Bihar is a Cuban-American music executive. So did like 3 random business business people just get together? So if Norm's Akiva Perel is also the creative capitals, it's possible he got grantors at the nonprofit he markets for to also fund a show? The lack of the show's background conception is fishy. Like, why did a record executive, assuming they're the same person, help? Who's the artist? Who is this the brainchild of? Why aren't Akiva and Sophia Perel on camera yapping about their brainchild? The Wikipedia just lists these 3 names. They've never credited themselves to my knowledge. This wiki page could just be bullshit. Okay, look, I know people, myself included, would say, oh, they don't want their names on this because it's and not because it was knowingly low quality because of its potentially relation to illegal behavior. Then why be so private? The only 3 consistently credited people are the 3 credits period, 3 of the main cast members. Commentator Dave Rubin, commentator and attempted politician Larry Elder, and political and religious satirical YouTube personality J.P. Sears. The show is also endorsed by some other conservative leading figures, including Rubin and Elder themselves. Even though they worked on the show, that's not a applause. I don't think its cast or endorsers even cared or realized the suspicious nature. It was just yapping in front of a mic paycheck, just another day for him.
Now just imagine, like I said, whoever came up with this is a pretty smart fella.
The first surviving iteration of the new norm was a webcomic strip titled Woke World, which is presumably subject to lost media. Either that or this strip iteration didn't last very long. Who drew it? I don't know. Its website it advertised on is defunct and its social media is dead. Its social media proves its existence as early as February of 2021, but allegedly also existed as early as November of 2020. So it's possible that it was conceived to capitalize on the divisive nature of the 2020 US presidential election, or to capitalize on the growing distaste of assuming President Joe Biden.
What is your message to Republicans who are prepared to block the January 6th commission?
Eat some chocolate.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the comic is just Marmaduke Political Edition. It sucks. The main ensemble being divided by politics. The protagonist Norm and his black best friend Charlie leaning right, and Norm's daughter Chloe and her friend, maybe lover Chaz, leaning left. Norm's wife and Chloe's mother, presumably, assuming Norm's hair used to be blonde, because if not, somebody's cheating. Janice, who is presumably more centrist and attempts to be a voice of reason amongst the chaotic divided ensemble.
Lois trips on her chest and grabs her boob.
But this would eventually lead to like a pitch trailer of an adaptation, which I guess leaked at some point from being passed around to investors and whatnot. But it's not like you can boogie down to the leak like an unreleased Michael Jackson track. It's worthless. That's not anywhere on the internet via the New Norm website and the X account. As it was being pitched around, it's possible it struggled to get picked up until Musk began the Make Twitter YouTube movement, and only receiving some funding from New Market Possibilities and not for insightful messaging amongst conservatives. It also depicts some conservative figures through realistic portraits not consistent with the character anatomy and are atrociously animated, but could have been an interesting stylistic decision like Jib Jab or something, but was clearly only an alternative style out of laziness. But I guess the anonymous non-animation corporation behind this wanted like a full TV show in runtime, which eventually allowed a series of 3 2 to 3 minute shorts and a bunch of 10-second promotional animations of characters reacting to bizarre activism on social media. The entire main trilogy of episodes is 8 minutes long and is the most fundamentally broken 8 minutes of something I have ever seen. The pilot serves the purpose to introduce the characters, but the main conflict, I think, is that Norm wants beer that's not gay. Now, if you didn't know, big-name alcohol distributor Anheuser-Busch brought on controversial activist Dylan Mulvaney as a spokesperson. Mulvaney is a transgender woman despised by both of those who do not support the right to transsexuality and the transgender community and its allies itself, because of Mulvaney's advocacy for such causes as legalization of sex change operations for minors and encouraging endangerment of women's spaces, as well as her own perception of gender dysphoria indicating biological change change rather than physical appearance alteration, and choosing to act upon it in a childish nature. This partnership basically pissed off every demographic besides the most liberals of liberals, 3/4 of the entire spectrum, leading to one of the most effective boycotts ever, a $27 billion loss. But with this loss, a new market was created, targeted at the right-leaning parts of the Mulvaney boycott, for beer representative of the values, often disregarding the liberals that also didn't support Mulvaney. This included the brand Ultra Right and Hulk Hogan's Real American. Our sitting Vice President, J.D. Vance, even making beer allegories on the campaign trail.
This is a six-pack under the leadership of Kamala Harris. This is a six-pack under the leadership of Donald J. Trump. Let's make America great again.
Bud Light also had a history of capitalizing on Pride Month as gay marriage was legalized in the United States, something also disapproved of by leftists given the exploitative nature banking on their sexuality equality. So this episode partially satirizes this event in history. Norm is established to be on house arrest for unlawful protest at Chloe's school board, which is never shown, presumably to cheap out. Now, a big part of the show's marketing was that it was also a modernized spoof of the 1971 sitcom All in the Family, which was controversial upon release given its willingness to tackle social issues. A little taboo for our ha-ha funny shows of the time. It is often theorized that the new Norm's concept was borrowed from a Simpsons cutaway gag in season 10 of the show, All in the Family 1999, being a late 90s modernization of the beloved show. Basically copy-pasting that gag, but making it a real show focusing on 2020's issues. Norm himself holding similarities to the protagonist Archie Bunker. One of the pieces of marketing also says that it's an edgy yet family-friendly comedy that shines a funny light on today's most divisive issues. So I guess it's trying to appeal to old people that don't watch shows with vulgarity. So how is it edgy and family-friendly? I wouldn't describe it as edgy as long as you don't count references to controversy as edgy, which it does do, but it's not anything out of the norm.
Once again, boys, who do you serve?
You, Mrs. Cora.
Whose wrath do you fear?
Yours, Mistress Cora. Yeah.
You know, this did premiere on X, not YouTube, so Norm could just be shouting fat. And I bring this All in the Family spoof aspect up because it's seemingly used as an excuse for the characters to not leave the house and cheap out. You know, since most sitcoms of the era only had like a few reoccurring sets inside buildings. But it's a cartoon, just draw another one. That can't be more expensive than building a practical set. Okay, well, there is another one of Woke World for about 4 seconds. But why isn't Norm being put on house arrest shown after his unlawful protest? Which I imagine would also have to require him spaz out like an idiot? So, you know, a reason, particularly of a severe nature as to why he's against woke, could have helped him establish as to why he's mentally unstable? Like, I don't know, have his son die in a war that Obama or Bush started, whom Trump has publicly criticized for such? Or the doctors misdiagnosed Norm's gay son to have gender dysphoria and he took himself out post-surgery because he was just fruity and not trans. You know, something that sitting President Biden supports as evidented by the portrayal of some of his cabinet members in the show. But why does he hate woke?
It's okay. Billy is an emotional support dog and non-binary.
Yo, I'm a fucking homosexual.
What? I come here to get away from woke.
What the hell even is woke according to the show? But why are the anti-woke people doing dumb shit for comedy? Now, clearly, upon referencing external factors of the show's content, it isn't trying to dunk on conservatives, it's exploiting them for change. Because again, without context, unironically, it could easily be interpreted as a parody of modern conservative culture. So why are they giving pronoun a beer? That portrays them in a negative light. But it's not clearly trying to be centrist and make fun of extremism. Hell, it's not even like King of the Hill where, yes, we can infer Hank's views on Bobby's generation side.
Excuse me, are y'all with the cult?
We're not a cult. We're an organization that promotes love and...
Yeah, this is it.
But that isn't the point. It's just drama from generational and ideological differences.
Mr. Khan, I'll have a Mai Tai. What you think? I work for Hank?
Dad, this here is my new neighbor.
He's Japanese.
Charlie claims his son is potentially falsely convinced of gender dysphoria. This plot point was presumably teased in like the pitch trailer thing, but this character is never shown. So this episode just kind of flip-flops on who it's supposed to be dunking on, while providing no reason for dunking on gay beer. There could be a reason. Are you against the capitalization on minorities? Are you against gay?
I'm the old Norm. I want normal beer.
Why does Norm want normal beer? For something insistent on making comedy through political division, it's actually lacking ideological diversity in its cast.
Oh, hey, it's Jerry, right?
Yeah, but my friends call me the Republican vampire. Are you GOP, Andy?
I'm not. I don't.
The Repubs are cool, man. Let me tell you my philosophy vis-a-vis our conservative friends.
Presumably to cut down on costs by having less characters. Like, it's willing to have a black against woke. Where's the gay one? Where's the trans one? Where's drag artist herself, Lady Maga? So if you're gonna build comedy from political division, embrace the division. But no, that would imply that a person with a critical lens of the US of A wrote this shit. And to conclude it, we have the theme song, in which the lyrics make no sense, and half of it is devoted to sucking Elon's musky Dutch taint. Musk makes an animated appearance, but he is not even impersonated, nor does he appear as himself. Musk has never once shown support to the new norm.
Hey, Elon, check this out.
They act like he's on the team with the motive to exploit his supporters. And also, what is this shot? The sign says the first animated sitcom on X. But then Elon takes the X off and replaces it with the X logo X? But why is he replacing it with an X if there's already an X on it? It should have been the Twitter bird because that's an actual thing that happened. And like I said, the first episode of The New Norm is a masterclass in unintentional hilariosity. It's so bad, it's good. But the next two episodes would not release for a mere 5 months, both to be commemoration releases with the 2024 United States presidential election. Episode 2, Electile Dysfunction, which isn't a word. I think they meant electoral, which still would have got the pun across. But this is where any purpose to even watch the show gets completely thrown out the window. When this came out, I was legitimately disappointed that it was not unintentionally hilarious like the previous. It is just 3 minutes of political exploitation and controversy references with zero substance. Now, the gang is at like an Elon Musk Mars launch because Musk is also a large advocate for space exploration given his background in manufacturing the necessary technology. And I thought this was like a county office and they were Pokemon going to the polls because it's also a political protest from both sides, and the gang is arguing about the upcoming election, and Elon and Trump show up because they're gay lovers, and again, they're both silent, and Trump's design is atrocious. There are worse Family Guy ripoff styles than The New Norm. Elon's design for the world looks logical enough, but Trump looks like the f***ing Squash from Plants vs. Zombies. I don't know why bad political cartoons just cannot draw Trump accurately for some reason. And you know, this is supposed to be a positive depiction of him, something rare for an animated series, but Hillary Clinton tries to shoot Trump referencing his near-death assassination attempt on the 24 campaign trail, and Clinton's subject to conspiracy involving assassinations.
Linkara, the great Linkara, he did attack the fourth wall.
Don't you talk about me, you son of a bitch.
Who said that? What is that?
It's
what
me,
is that?
the light bringer.
Throw him out the clothes. Don't bring it. Don't give him his jacket. Don't give him.
But also, a drag queen takes the Amazon rocket, which was never established because CEO Jeff Bezos went to space one time. But it turns out Putin is spying on the cast, and the drag queen blows up his Russian palace. You know, this could actually make a statement on the negative standard of inherently sexual art in children's spaces. You know, that's kind of an issue.
I mean, if you've got men that look like 400-pound goblin demons with your children, there's nothing you won't put up with. There isn't a species on the planet that would let something that looks like a space alien get up close to its kids, but only in America does it happen, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it right now. I can't handle it more.
But no, it's just drag queen for no reason. And then Norm's dog, who I didn't mention that he has, and Trump and Musk boogie in space. What's the joke? Trump's infamous "they're eating the dogs" claim is also dubstep hype remixed for no reason. I guess that's why Norm's dog hangs out with Trump. He's not gonna get eaten if he votes for him, I guess. Because Trump immigration policies. And then the episode just turns into an ad for merchandise. And I have to give them credit, the normal beer cozy allowing you to turn a gay beer can into a normal beer can. That's kind of funny. And yes, there was merchandise and is still available for purchase, mainly with political slogans and reenacting scenes from the classic pilot. But it's safe to say the show lost its identity on 3 minutes short number 2. Identity as in social satire, not the political demographic exploitation. But the conservative exploitation aspect would be completely lost with the 3rd episode. It oddly becomes centrist. It's just 3 minutes of both sides are equally as bad. The same boring political joke that hasn't been funny since Jib Jab.
You're a liberal sissy. You're a right-wing nut job. You're a pinko commie. You're dumb as a doorknob. Hey, you got that Botox. But I still won 3 Purple Hearts.
It's just pointlessly back and forth, just like the 2nd episode, but this time it's the whole goddamn thing. But the only time I ever got a genuine, unironic laugh out of this show was this bit.
That was years ago. Now your side hates Jews.
Your side hates
Now, of course, it's ruined about 3 seconds later when they start repeating it.
Was years ago. Now your side hates Jews.
Your side hates Jews.
No, your side hates Jews.
Your side hates
No,
Jews.
your side hates Jews.
Your side hates
Your
Jews.
side hates Jews.
Your side hates Jews.
But I could say the show itself has one unironically good joke. Congrats. And after the 2024 presidential election, in which Donald Trump appeared to be more popular than ever throughout his political career, the project just died. It's not like there was much of an election or even a counterculture now that Trump was cooler, or it was ultimately a failure due to not being on the far more viable YouTube. So the moral of the story is be a real person when you want to satirize the state of your country, I guess.